Hello! Welcome to this show of Blade Runner. This is just a real quick audio check to make sure you can hear us. So, assuming you can, Esper Machine. The miraculous Esper Machine is a high-density OmniView image analyzer. You don't know what that means, and you don't have a clue how it works. Nobody but the Esper Corporation does. The Megacorp, who owns all the patent and manufactures all the Esper terminals for the LAPD and other agencies as a government contractor. All you know is that it can change the point of view of any image captured by a compatible device. With simple voice command, Espers can pan and zoom within that recorded image's three-dimensional space, enhance the tiniest detail in high-definition resolution, even maneuver around obstructions and reveal new information not seen in the original image. Esper terminals range in size and functionality. The smallest, relatively the size of a TV set, can only provide OmniView analysis on one image at a time. Every Blade Runner has one of these magic boxes at home. The biggest Esper terminal by far is the Esper Wall, owned and exclusively accessed by the LAPD. This wall-sized supercomputer, located at RDU headquarters, is capable of impossible computational powers, processing endless amounts of data across innumerable sources and feeds. More than a mere image analyzer, the Esper Wall is the nervous system of the Esper network, the ever-watchful surveillance network constantly recording video through the city's countless Esper cameras. The Esper machine has versatile uses in casework. Blade Runners may capture Esper footage of a crime scene to thoroughly investigate then or later. You can also input confiscated imagery and video and enhance for evidence. You'd be surprised how many trafficators, drones, security cameras, and other Esper-enabled devices are recording the whole city from multiple angles, all which Espers you can mine for evidence if you can secure the footage. If all else fails, you can check the Esper network to see if its many prying eyes saw anything you didn't. It doesn't see everything, mind you. It's got omnivision, not omniscience or omnipresence. The EN demands too much processing power, so it can only hold about 24 hours of footage before being forced to record over yesterday's data. The EN also only monitors street-level activity for the most heavily trafficked sectors, as megacorps and suits prefer to pay for their own security and discreet solutions. Plus, the best back-alley dealers among crooks and megacorps alike know how to keep out of sight. Much like the mainframe, only Blade Runners and other authorized LAPD personnel can access Esper terminals. Operators can make wall inquiries, and the supercomputer will deliver a report after the required processing time. Make too vague an inquiry, and you'll retire before results come back. Hello, and welcome to Electric Memory, a Blade Runner campaign set in the world of the films, and using the system published by Free League Press. We are also using the Roll20 VTT, including the wonderful music provided within the platform. As a content note, this game deals with many of the same themes as the film, including unreliable memory, mistaken identity, mistaken heritage, and loss of innocent life. Viewer discretion is thus advised. The game also presumes that the player characters are Blade Runners, part of a semi-autonomous unit attached to the LAPD. As an Angelino, I can tell you, straight up, the LAPD sucks. They have always sucked, and they will continue to suck until the heat death of the universe. This show is not meant to be propaganda in any way, and will work to highlight the corruption and abuse inherent in institutions like the LAPD and anyone else given literal licenses to kill. That out of the way, players, please introduce yourselves and your characters to the audience.
Hey everybody, you may know me as Ambrose, but I'm your favorite changeling no matter what you know me by, and my pronouns are any. You can find me all over the internet as Am Changeling and on Etsy at Thornkind, and tonight I will be playing Quinn Kinsey, who uses any pronouns. If you're unsure, they, them's totally fine.
Hello, it's me, Aaron. My pronouns are she, they, they, and you can find me pretty much everywhere as Great Cthulhu. Tonight I will be playing Evie Tofana, the Fixer, whose pronouns are she, they.
Hello, I'm Ben, your neighborhood large dad. Tonight I am playing EVA6U, also known as Evan. I swear this was not made to make fun of Evie's name. This is just random chance.
Hi there, I'm Eric at Modern Recluse Online, and tonight I will be playing Dutch Olson, the Enforcer.
Hello, everybody. My name is Steve. You could find me nowhere on the internet, please. And today I am playing Cassius, and both our pronouns are he, him. And I'm not going to be talking a whole lot this session, so enjoy it while you can.
Our friend Steve has lost his game of tag with the Rona, so thank you for showing up, Steve. Alright, as for me, I am your game runner in KIA unit. My name is Rachel. My pronouns are she and her. Aaron, would you mind reading the recap of last week's session, please?
Sure. Everyone gets a little relaxation before the mission off-world. For Evie, this looks like synthahol and a bubble bath. Deep in relaxation, a creepy feeling of being watched infiltrates their minds, so she opens her eyes to find other Evie sitting on the toilet, staring at her. They converse about what went wrong and what went right during this past mission, and of all things, ethics of how to treat humans. For Dutch, his relaxation consists of some research and records. He wants dossiers on everyone in his team. He's looking for baseline tests ultimately. Only Evan's dossiers has those. Everyone's files are pretty accessible except for Quinn's. Theirs is blocked by Joshi, who wants to make a deal with Dutch to not involve Quinn. She cares about Quinn. In addition, Joshi wants to hold his job. Fine, deal. He doesn't care. Olsen just wants to be safe in the spinning space tin can and not end up like Lilith Tyrell. Holden calls Dutch in his office and hands off Evan's perfect baseline tests. There was an incident in the desert, however, and EVA6U's memories had to be rewritten. The boss man also has the seasoned detective make a delivery of a sealed envelope to a diner. It's full of a lot of paper, not cheap in this era, and more secure than over at KIA. On the way to the diner, Dutch makes a quick stop to his favorite noodle shop to borrow some steam from the chef to finagle the envelope open. It's a hot mess and he'll have to replace the envelope, but he reveals what's inside. It's just a report of the mission, nothing redacted. Entirely different from what was presented in the media. Dutch replaces the files in a new envelope and enters the diner to find a woman dressed in sleek business wear and a UN pin on her lapel. She introduced herself as Agent Wilder, Rhiannon Wilder. They chat a little about the mission, and then Dutch heads out once more. For Cassius, relaxation is, like Evie, a drink, but combined with staring out the window. To his surprise, he spots Styles. Does Styles spot him too? He rises from his chair, grumbling to check out what Styles is doing. The replicant asks for a light, gesturing at his cigarette. Cassius lights it with his own cigarette, lighter not to be found. He asks if Styles is lost, and the Nexus 9 responds with, "Rough case, yeah?" The detective plays dumb, but then, strangely, Styles muses, "I wonder what Tommy would have thought." Cassius subtly threatens the replicant, flicking his cigarette at his chest, turns on his heel, and stalks back to his apartment. Styles mutters something about trying to make contact as he goes. As the disgruntled detective returns to his home, he pulls out his KI to think, then walks back out. TY706 was a lab tech that Cassius had worked with, Tommy as he was known. Became too world-weary, and he was retired right in front of the rookie Cassius's eyes. It was never the same. His memory replays for him and he finds Styles again. Styles confesses that the detectives didn't do what he thought they would. He thought they would outright retire Leia, but they didn't. Having seen that and appreciating that they didn't traumatize the little girl, he wants to be a contact. He wants to be Cassius' connection. Surprisingly, the detective doesn't object. Officially heading back to his apartment, Cassius spies an ad for off-world colonies and heaves a sigh. How did Styles find out about Tommy? For Evan, relaxation is tricky. He doesn't have any friends. Camera zooms in to find him practicing small talk in the mirror. In the background, both the TV and the stereo play. On the television, a face flashes across the screen. A white guy, square jaw in a suit. At first, Evan thinks he recognized him from Underground Sports, but no, that's not it. A politician, Senator Bannister. A remembrance of it having been a year since he died. Well, good, Evan thinks. He deserved it. The politician had died in an underground boxing match, either having fallen or someone having pushed him. The replicant does some research on his KIA, finding the case had been solved. However, notes indicated it wasn't at all. He gets a name, Alani Davis, who also happens to be his upstairs neighbor. She's been squatting since the previous owners had died, but no one has kicked her out yet. He decides to go make a visit. Alani answers the door and invites Evan in. They start to talk about the Senator Bannister. Alani saying it was quite a clusterfuck. Evan responds that it sounds like his last case. It's revealed that both cases were errant replicants, but Alani doesn't know what model the replicant was for the Senator's murder. If she was a model at all. She was what Leander Wallace called his angels. Perfect in every way, right in tune with his god complex. They finish the conversation and go their separate ways. Time to go back to pretending to be human in the mirror. Quinn's relaxation looks like returning home to their partner. Joshi, much to her pleasant surprise, Joshi is home early and with Quinn's favorite takeout. They talk a bit about Quinn's most recent mission and their upcoming mission. Joshi purrs to Quinn, requesting any information on Holden, because he's just not fit for the job anymore. He's old and harsh, and the job needs someone softer, more willing to work with the replicants. Someone like Joshi. Of course, Joshi can always count on Quinn. Tanner's relaxation, like Dutch's did, resembles work. He finds rumors that Wallace had been engineering assassin replicants. So far, this information only shows up in tabloids with zero credibility. It appears some things, files, notes, details, have been left out of reports. Tanner generates an investigation into Wallace Corps. The team is reuniting the mission briefing on Weyland-Yutani. They produce ships that go off-world, but recently the replicants are getting unruly. One of the ships that had been in an aerodock exploded. Fortunately, no one was hurt in the accident, but we need to investigate if there is foul play. Our handler will be Genesis Weyland. Tanner does some prep work by finding out what current projects Weyland-Yutani is working on. Peter Weyland, the founder, has a goal to expand into the stars and get humans off of Earth, from within the solar system to eventually outside of it, but so far there's only sublight speed. This makes the nearest star system 4 light years away. More research is being done on cryosleep. Leander Wallace seems to be a business ally on that end. The Weyland-Yutani merger has been rather recent, but it may have been more of a hostile takeover of the Weyland Corporation by the Yutani Corporation. Time to take a trip to the Energy Empire. In Evan's spinner is Cassius, in Evie's is Dutch, and in Tanner's is Quinn. Holden calls Evie A6U and asks for a report already. With nothing to report just yet, he informs Evan that this mission will end in retiring a responsible replicant. Click. Cassius muses that he and Evan will be very much on the same page during this mission. In Dutch's spinner, Evie is surprisingly quiet. She's got a lot on her mind, and Dutch is a little worried about her. An uncomfortable silence fills the spinner. Tanner strikes up some conversation with Quinn. He asks them to research the merger, and the findings are that both companies benefit. However, Yutani had to force his hand due to Weyland's god complex. There are a lot of layoffs and worker accidents, but hey, they're just replicants, right? After doing the research, Quinn takes selfies of themselves and Tanner, adding emojis galore, and they send the pics to everyone's KIAs. Our contact, Genesis Weyland, meets us. She's very sleek with her perfect asymmetrical bob and carries herself confidently. She and her assistant replicant, David, lead us to the wreckage in the air dock, showing us around. It becomes clear to us that the corporation is only concerned with the bottom dollar, not the safety of the people. We're told to talk to Jonna Meyer. She's an analyst that can help us. The head of security, Wade Hayden, was working the night shift. We're also told about Priya, the informal leader of the replicants that work here. They employ about 80 replicants, doxy models. With that, Genesis and David go on their way, leaving us to our investigations. Evan and Cassius do a preliminary investigation of the wreckage itself. It looks like whatever exploded came from within and started a fire that spread. Looks like someone knew what they were doing. Sabotage for sure. Where the fire was, materials weren't supposed to be flammable. The two decide to bring Quinn over. They take samples and document where things happened and how things spread. Evie and Dutch go to interview Wade Hayden, who seems strangely eager to tell Evie everything he knows. Struggling away. I still love that you added that right at the end, Ambrose. Thanks. I was watching you type it as I was reading.
I realized I forgot to add it and I needed to add it.
Okay, so thank you for reading the recap. Thank you, and Changeling, for writing it. Thank you, Big Dad, for being our pinch hit producer, because we are down a Leo tonight. He had, I don't know, loser has a family or something. He actually
Forget
likes
about
spending time with
it.
them. Yeah, no, but we'll
Wait,
get him back
did-
next week.
Nerds with families.
Whatever.
Yeah, who'd want kids? I can actually see the gray coming in my hair every week more and more.
Anyway, well, no children, fake or otherwise, in this session of Blade Runner. So if you look into the Roll20, I have shared a map with you of the complex. And so you can see this spaceship hangar. All of you, even Evan, are given fairly nice rooms in the management apartment. And you'll see, like, next to the hangar, there's the replicant barracks, and then the 2 different med labs, supply silos, the big old hangar, etc., etc. So, the first thing... Yes?
Where do they keep the xenomorphs?
Find out in play.
No.
Sucks to be you guys.
Just saying, David.
I don't have a stink.
Alright, so... the first thing that happens is, Dutch. You appear to be, the deputy captain's, like, emotional support Blade Runner, because he's calling you again.
This guy never quits, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I broke that.
Yes, dear.
Hi, sweetheart. Have you, debriefed, Wayland, or not, wait, fuck my life. Wallace.
Talking about, wait, what were we talking about? This is the Wayland Yutani case you got me working right now.
Yeah, well, before you left for campus, did any of you Bright Sparks remember that Wallace is very interested in the outcome of this case?
Yeah. Something, an entire spaceship blew up. I'm sure they're waiting for their insurance check to come in real soon.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
that fake lady, well, she's breathing down my ass, so now I'm breathing down yours.
got lady problems, Holden? Talking to the wrong guy.
Handing him off to you. Meet with
All right,
Klaus.
just shoot me your contact details. I'll get in contact. Is this from somebody from Wallace Corporation?
Yeah, is liaison, point of contact, handler, whatever you want to think about it.
All right, sure. I'll swing by and give her a visit right after I, save the world and jump over the moon and all that.
Just get it done.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Click.
He looks over to Evie. Never stops talking or asking for favors. Now he wants me to swing by Wallace Corporation after this. Can you believe it?
I mean, it's less a favor and more an order. He is your boss.
I'm technically a cop. Was press ganged into being a cop. Ex-cop.
I guess better him crawling up your ass than mine.
Weird image, but sure. I'll go with it, kid. You gonna talk to this guy or what? You want me to talk to him?
I mean, he was pretty forthcoming. He's like, I don't know, it doesn't seem... I mean, the fact that he's so forthcoming is suspicious to me, but...
Yeah, check for a registration number in his eyelids. I'm gonna go check the security cam feeds. There's bound to be something around here we can use. I introduced myself to Mr. Hayden. How young and attractive does this guy look? I imagine like a security captain to be like an old grizzled guy, you know, with like graying hair or something like that. But this is, from what I remember last week, he sounds like some 20-something-year-old looking pretty boy.
That is what he looks like.
Oh,
And
wow.
that is what Genesis looks like.
Oh, is she pretty? Hmm. So I just ask him like some general questions after Evie's done talking to them. So while she's talking to him, I just kind of like ease on over to like see what kind of tech they have in the security area and see if they have any intuitively if I can access any records from the day of the explosion.
Okay, so just to make this a little more formalized, so Dutch and Evie are speaking to Wade. Okay. What is everyone else up to?
Did we decide last time that Cassius and Evan were still investigating at the start? Like the first shift would count as our investigation or something?
Yeah.
I joined you guys
Yeah.
because
We needed.
I was
we
going to
needed
collect
a nerd.
samples. You nerd.
Okay. Cool. All right, so we will deal with the ship first. You do find the stuff that was previously mentioned. The fire started here, it spread here. The explosion, as far as you can tell, also successfully damaged the engines, which is the most expensive part of the ship. These things are custom made and they're not cheap. And so, one thing you do get is, yes, Evan.
Isn't the whole ship custom made?
I mean, there are like designs that get recycled.
No, you get the doors from the Ace hardware down the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah. The designs get recycled, but those engines, brand new every time. Blueprints up.
I mean, you're aware of the DeLorean. Anyway, another thing, Quinn, that you find is, you go a little old school and you start dusting for fingerprints. There's a lot of fingerprints here, like a lot. But you can send them to Coco at the RDU headquarters, and he will be able to do the extensive analysis. He will get back to you at the end of this ship.
Fantastic. Quinn will send a ton of emojis. And thank you. And more emojis. And a little Pusheen gif.
Okay, so he sends back it's clearly trying to be an emoji. It's like open parentheses, Y closed parentheses, which is supposed to be a thumbs up, but it just looks like a butt.
Why do you send me a butt?
All
Send
right.
one back.
Quinn sends a peach and a question mark.
Exclamation point, exclamation point.
Wait, do they have emojis in the post-apocalyptic or cyberpunk?
I guess they do now.
The blackout took them.
No!
like it took the internet from us.
It probably has like interactable 3D projection emojis or something.
We used
Wait,
to.
so what
Talk back.
happens when you send an eggplant?
Everyone goes, I don't know what
It
that
sings.
is. Much like when you send them a picture of a floppy disk.
Just do 8 with a bunch of equal signs and then a capital D. They'll get it. Maybe some tildes at the end if you want to be gross.
I'm
So,
an adult.
are there any
What?
So, while you are examining all of this, you hear rustling. Someone has come into the air dock, and they are making those little like cat noises, like here kitty kitty kitty. Not the reaction I was expecting, stunned silence.
My brain left for a second. Who is calling kitty kitty?
That woman.
Ooh. Why is everyone in this game hot?
Why are they all
It's so Evie needs a lot of romance options. So
Jesus.
We are in LA.
Evie already
Because
has
they're-
her perfect match.
They're all
Herself.
replicants.
Sorry, I'm not interested in
I mean-
blurry face people. I learned too much from watching Cops.
You see her, and she is setting down a dish of water. And this orange cat pops out, meows, and goes to her. Yes,
Is it fat?
kinda.
Ask her if it's real.
Can I touch the kitty? Can I pet the kitty? Can I hold the kitty?
So you say that, and she sort of starts like, "Oh, I didn't know you were in here. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you."
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay, so the cat starts like weaving like in between her ankles, meowing at her. She bends down, scritches it behind the ears. "Oh, you're a good girl, Janie. Yes, you are."
That's such a convincing kitty. Is Animoid like newest edition or
Oh, no, no. The synthetic cats just don't make good mousers. So we actually went to the expense of getting a few real ones. So this cat being a real cat, about $5 million. For point of reference, I got my cat free from the shelter.
I have a question. Is that adjusted for inflation in like today dollars or like future dollars where like a ham sandwich costs $30,000?
No,
is the
like
cat's name ham sandwich?
no, the cat's name is Janie.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
That's a terrible name. We're gonna call it Ham. Because it's orange and all orange cats are hams. Everybody knows that.
That's a real. Oh, can I rub it against my face and find out if I'm allergic like my ancestors were?
If she'll let you.
Quinn will go up very carefully and gently to the kitty. Just like a little hesitant because they'd only ever seen the Animoid cats.
Hey, give me a manipulation roll, please.
I have to manipulate her kitty?
Yeah, you've got to like communicate with it properly.
Damn it.
I'm not taking responsibility for that one.
Oh, okay, computer, quit being so slow. Oh no. I'm gonna. I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I'm an adult. Okay, let me roll my D.
Oh, your character won't lose resolve if you don't push, but you yourself will lose resolve if you don't push.
I must push the D.
Push it real good.
Hey, if you push and fail, the cat will not like you.
Oh.
I know, those are the stakes.
Watch everybody else like successfully manipulate the cat. Wow, that's a weird sentence. It's
I
just-
mean, Evie's got a very high manipulate when it comes to cats.
You know, if you can't play nicely with the cat, I'm going to take it away from you.
listen,
No.
dressed like this, I'm not gonna give a quote on this.
How do I do this thing again with the
Click
push?
and decide which
You're
So
gonna
you
select
both
the one that has
roll.
both dice.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a while since I've done this. No.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh no. I'm allergic.
Okay.
It turns out.
Yeah, and you find this out when you get too close to the cat, and you don't really understand cat body language. And so you think that it's just standing at attention, and then you get smacked for a point of damage.
Who taught this cat manners?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you all right?
Oh, I think I'm allergic like my ancestors.
Oh, yeah. You should probably leave Janie alone. She's a mouser. Oh, and here, let's get you first aid.
Okay.
So she will take you to MedLab 1 and get you some Benadryl and like wash the cut and bandage it. And she explains along the way that there's lots of like little very tiny tunnels and tubes and passages and lots of insulation that attracts mice and rats, and it is very, very difficult to get rid of them. And so, just like the mariner ancestors of yore, even spaceships have space cats, or ship cats. And the synthetic ones are just not as good at being a mouser. So, yeah, 5 million in today's dollars. It's a justifiable expense.
Maybe the other cats are nicer on other ships.
Oh, well, the synthetic ones are made to be friendly.
Wait, cats aren't normally friendly? I thought that they just like were. I thought animoids were behaviorally correct.
Well, there's always adjustments that can be made, right?
Yeah, I
Pets can
saw
be
this.
friendly. Cats are friendly with the people they're familiar with.
Oh, so
They
they're kind of
just-
like people.
Something like that. So she sticks out her hand and like, I'm Fiza.
Oh, I'm Quinn.
Pleased to meet you. You're one of the Blade Runners here looking at the ship, right?
Yes, I normally work an office job, but my boss decided that I should be out in the field for some strange reason.
Oh, well, I'm sure he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I don't know how to shoot a gun and I don't drive spinners very often.
Well, what do you do?
I do forensic type stuff and the technology stuff, and basically, I'm the team nerd.
Sounds useful. Have you learned anything yet?
Oh, no, I should probably get back there though. I was testing for fingerprints and I was distracted by the kitty. Um, but what do you do?
Oh, I'm an intern. I work here in the lab, actually.
Oh, you're out. See, I'm very happy. This is very serendipitous because I need to eventually talk to you about all the things that I find.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to hear it, but yeah, you can find me anytime. I'm around here most of the day.
Awesome. Oh, here is my KIA number in case you need to get a hold of me.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that uh I can help you with?
Well, you probably did a preliminary investigation, right? Or was it all saved just for us?
Oh, I didn't do that. I'm just the intern. I feed the cats and clean the petri dishes. So no, I didn't do any investigation, and I think Genesis had it all sealed off until you could get here.
Hmm. Well, that's probably helpful. Uh, do you were you here when it happened?
I mean, we were all here, I guess, but it happened in the middle of the night, so I was asleep.
Hmm. Do you were you woken up by it?
Oh, yeah, well, so there was, I guess, a sound, like a explosion, just boom. That didn't wake me up, but then all the sirens started going off, and that one did.
How far away is your room from the where the spaceship was?
Oh, well, I'm an intern, so I should technically be at the barracks, but they actually gave me a room at the management complex.
You probably already know this, but I'm just asking because if I can figure out maybe like how loud the explosion was in comparison to how far away your room was, and kind of gauge what chemical reaction might have happened to cause the explosion.
Oh, well, I'm working right now, but I could show you my room after my shift.
Sure, that sounds great.
Uh,
The cat doesn't stay in there, does it?
oh no, the cat mostly just comes and goes where she pleases.
Cats are so weird. I wonder what real dogs are like. I wonder if they act like cats.
Oh, we can't afford a dog.
Maybe someday I'll meet one. Well, thank you so much for helping me get what was the thing that you gave me for the sneezes?
Oh, it's just antihistamine.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll see you around. Cassius and Evan, while Quinn vanishes with the very pretty Persian lady, is would you like to accomplish anything else in the hangar?
I just have some complaining about whether or not Quinn has finished doing the chemical swabs to see what kind of thing created this explosion.
Okay.
I'm sure whatever they're doing is vital and necessary to their calculations.
Yeah, not like asking an intern questions about how loud an explosion was in decibels.
I mean, if they need to know what the decibel count was, I'm sure it's important.
We should start running down some security footage and whatnot of this place.
Agreed.
We figured out what we can here, I guess, without the, technician here.
Agreed. We have we'll get the report. We need to start talking to some people.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start making my way to whoever it is we're supposed to talk to next.
Okay. Cool. So we will shift the camera to Dutch and Evie as you encounter, experience, interrogate Wade Haddon.
You can talk to him first if you want, Evie.
Sure. All right,
All
Wade.
right.
Real quick, by pulling eyelid down for us.
So give me an insight check.
Oh
both of
god, I
you.
rolled so shitty last week. It's deeply terrible. And the luck continues. Let's go. I am gonna push.
Okay.
I regret everything.
Oh no.
I told you. There is a direct correlation between.
Look at those rolls. We're gonna crack this case wide open.
This has confirmed it for me. There is a direct correlation between how evil my character is and how well I roll. Just evil characters.
I think it's just that Roll20 doesn't like us, because if you look at like the dice tray, it zeros all the way down.
True story.
Dutch, would you like to push this roll?
Oh no, I'm not the sociable type anyway. I'm just rifling through his office, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Videos in here? Cool. He starts going through it, like trying to find footage.
I take resolve damage from that one, correct?
Yes.
All right. Hey, good thing I had that free downtime back up to 2, baby.
So, the you will pick up, at the very least, that there is something he's holding back. So, so how do you begin the questioning?
First is let me see your eye, please. Eyelid.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not a replicant, I swear.
Okay.
Made the old-fashioned way.
Great.
That just looks over his shoulder when he hears that.
So, where were you the night this went boom?
Oh, yeah, so I was on duty, and he'll sort of show you his station, which is just this massive bank of screens. And he's like, yeah, so we're not hooked into the Esper network, but we sort of have our own. I designed it all by myself. Yeah, and so every night I keep an eye on everything throughout these whole screens, and then I'll go on drone patrol. And then shows you like a little remote control drone. Just like sort of like looking at places where cameras can't go and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, so the night of the explosion, I didn't see anyone out of bounds. I didn't see anyone where they weren't supposed to be. And then, all of a sudden, I've got a whole big bank of red lights up here telling me that something's wrong at the space hangar. And, by the time I get there, big fire. We had to wait for it to burn itself out because, there's so many just chemicals and things in there. Yeah, we don't actually have our own fire brigade, which we should probably
Great. Don't care. Can you pull the tapes from your drone, the whatever footage you have? I need a list of everyone who has access to that area who could have done sabotage and would
Oh,
have been on duty, potentially.
Everyone has access. We don't really keep the hangar locked during downtime.
Evie is like looking, like just has stopped paying attention to it and is staring at Dutch like, are they fucking serious right now?
That just looks over at her and goes, "Mhm."
So okay, great. Anyone, could be anyone. Awesome. Tapes. Do you have recordings then?
Yeah. And he starts like typing away at his keyboard. Yeah, I'll download them real quick. It'll take a while. And so you see like this progress bar pop up and like move very slowly from like 1% to 3%.
I'm just thinking of Windows Millennia Edition
Yup.
where there's the file folder for
I
eternity.
got a better idea. I'm gonna reach in there and I'm gonna grab the hard drive and take it with me back to HQ. And we got much better equipment than this back there anyway. I can do it myself, or you can do it.
It'll only take a couple minutes.
Looks at his watch that he doesn't own.
So, I hear the test to become a Blade Runner is pretty hard.
He just lets that silence hang in the air for a hot minute, and then he turns on his interrogation questions. How many replicants do you employ in this place in the day versus the evening?
I think I'm gonna call that the resolve, by the way. When that question gets asked, Evie gets very nervous.
Okay. Oh, well, we have 80. They work in shifts of 30. We usually like to keep it, there's always like a shift on and then a shift, downtime sleeping. They've got their own rec center too. I don't know what it's like. You can see it right there. And he points to one of the cameras.
I don't look. I'm just like, I'm familiar with the map. How do you know which one of your workers are replicants? Is there like a machine here that tells you which ones are human, which ones are not?
Oh, well, all of the laborers, all the workers, the ones who are building the ship, they're all replicants. And then everyone in management and anyone in the lab is human.
Just answer the question, please. How do you know which ones are replicants and which ones are not?
Oh, well, the replicants are sent to us from the Wallace Corporation, and the humans are sent to us from HR.
Do they wear a uniform
Yeah, they've got jumpsuits.
that are different from your jumpsuit, since you're clearly not a replicant? Or at least you don't believe that to be the case?
I'm real sure I'm not a replicant.
That's what they all say, kid.
And you have really thrown him? You're not quite sure why, but something about that question, bothers him.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm, 26, sir.
How are you doing this job? And how are you the sole person in charge of security?
I was hired by...
This conversation stays inside of this office, so whatever you tell me is confidential.
Alright, so give me a manipulation roll, please.
I'm gonna roll meat space dice because fuck this roller.
It's turned against us.
When you
not
roll
much better.
dice here
I
on
got a 2
Stolen
and a 3.
Fires,
I got a 2 and a 3. Yay! Did I get advantage at all or no?
I'll give you advantage for the how do you know you're not a replicant question. Because he has a very good answer for that.
So I reroll 1 of the dice, correct?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yes, Quinn.
I rolled a 6! Yay! Got it that time.
Thank God.
and when you roll dice here on Stolen Fires, make sure those are odd duck dice.
Ah, yes.
Brought to you by Big Dad
Whoa.
Industries.
Normally, yes, but Eric and I both have the cool custom set.
a betrayal most foul. Get it? Foul.
Odd duck dice.
Um.
All odd duck dice are tested in my mouth.
I'm really glad I have these dice now.
I-
Wait, isn't her thing that the dice are really, really sharp?
They're really fucking sharp. Yeah, I keep them away from my children.
the tongue is going
Unless they're
to,
being
that
bad.
tongue move is going to haunt me for the rest of my days, man.
I'm like Denethor eating a tomato.
For the rest of my days.
I'm glad I didn't
Okay.
see it.
Alright, so moving on. So you see that Wade kind of blushes and he looks down and he says, my dad is one of the Yutani executives.
Which one?
Nepotism. Who would have guessed?
He
All
gives
of
you a
us. We
name.
all guessed it.
And they sort of needed a place for me because I'm not exactly in the formal line of succession.
Who was?
My dad's wife's kids. Like I said,
Names,
made
locations?
the old-fashioned way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said that already. Okay.
So he's essentially communicating to you that he's an illegitimate.
So this is what they gave you. Okay. There's
But
going
I'm-
to be some
I'm-
additional footage here. from the
I'm
explosion.
good at it, and I've taken some of the Blade Runner training programs, and I've done really well with them. I could show you my scores if you'd like.
We
Sweetheart,
probably have him back at the HQ.
sweetheart, if you were good at your job, there will probably not have been an exploded ship.
Oh, that's probably the replicants, right?
What's your theory?
Oh, you had to say that, didn't you?
Well, no, like I'm not racist against replicants. I think they're fine.
That's. I mean, that's usually how a sentence that's not going to be racist starts. Is I'm not racist, but
Well, okay, but the ones here have been getting and it
these ones are
looks-
different. I see.
It
Yeah.
looks like he's about to say uppity, thinks better about it, and
Do they get
just
treated really well? They get treated better than you?
unrestful. They're treated fine.
Do you pity them?
Well, I wouldn't want to do their job. It's a lot of manual labor.
I need footage from the explosion. I also need to know which cameras didn't capture, who worked on them last. Additional to that, I want footage from all the ships that were leaving and entering the dock before and after the explosion. Where were you when the ship blew?
Yeah. Of course. And so, at this point, the files that you requested have finished downloading, and so he will hand them over to you. Yeah, anything else I can do, just ask me to help.
Yeah. Can you go locate for me the insurance premium for Wayland Yutani's little operation here? What's covered, not covered,
Oh, I
that
don't
sort of thing.
have that. That's financial information. You'll need to talk to Genesis about that.
I'll be sure to do that. Any other questions, Evie?
No, I think I'm good.
No fire brigade, huh? Pretty sure that's a violation. Also, there should be some sort of machine around here that I can use to review the tapes. Make sure you get them to me as soon as possible, please.
Yeah, absolutely. You're staying in the management apartments, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And patrol footage as well. Don't leave anything out. I'll
Yeah,
know.
I'll have it sent right over.
He just motions for Evie to. All right, let's get out of here, kid.
Thank fucking God. She says audibly.
Let's go find Cassius and Evan. Maybe they had better luck than we did. You catch that little lie of his?
Which one?
When I asked him if he knew that for sure he was a replicant,
Oh,
he got a little nervous.
So
I'm-
in
I was-
retrospect, that nervousness was because he grew up his whole life knowing you're illegitimate, you're not a real member of this family. He's like, I'm pretty sure I'm not a replicant because my childhood kind of sucked.
Mm.
God damn it, Ben.
I think if
You
anybody
can play a
has soft
replicant,
spot
okay?
for
I know.
for
I
the
get to make
replicants
fun
working
of
here, it's him.
this.
Okay, fair.
Oh, that's a good idea. I forgot about David. I'll ask David for the files if he can't manage to get them for me.
Okay, so did you want to meet up with the other ones? You said you wanted to talk to Cassius?
yeah, we should probably
Yeah,
Oh.
we should probably.
just debrief quick, and then.
So we don't ask the same questions over and over again.
I mean, I would love nothing more than to harass Genesis and annoy her, but
I meant, so we don't have to keep.
Isn't that
talking
routine?
to-
Asking the
what's
same
his name?
questions over and over and over again until
Yeah.
somebody cracks.
yeah, that's standard interrogation method.
Okay, in that case, you will all reconvene at the hangar. The scene is yours.
Please tell me you found something useful.
Wade's useless and a bit racist.
No one's surprised.
Against
I found out I'm allergic to cats.
Congratulations.
racist against replicants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and
But-
he's a nepotism hire. He's only working that job because he's some illegitimate kid of some Wayland exec.
Family doesn't like him.
I don't. I'll be honest. It would have been my first suspect, but I don't think he has the brains to pull this off.
Does he realize that
He-
if this doesn't get solved, he's fucked?
Probably not. No. I mean, Dutch put the screws to him, and I don't think I got clued into the fact that he's in deep shit.
I'm not smart enough to pull it off, but he might be empathetic enough to let something slide, which could have led to the explosion. What did you find?
Well, Cassius, would you like to give your analysis? Or did me to do it? It's your.
Evan, you've been doing a fine job. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I just remembered as I was talking about you're not feeling great. All this LA smog is getting to him. So we discovered working together and see we've covered in soot now from having to dig through and do a bunch of chemical samples because our tech disappeared for reasons.
I came back.
You were gone for 20 minutes.
I had uncontrollable sneezes because I'm allergic to real cats.
Then why did it take you
Real
20
cats
minutes?
Yeah, that's surprised the DV doesn't say that they have real cats.
Let me check something.
No
very
fire brigade, but they
quickly.
spend millions on actual animals.
Mhm.
Figure
About
that.
5 million.
Why do you think I hate these fucking corpos, Dutch? This is how they work. Ooh,
You're
cute
preaching
kitty.
to the choir, kid.
Anyway, it was sabotage, accelerants, fire, whole shebang, inside job based on the way it exploded. Someone with access
Hold on.
to the facility set it off.
What accelerant did they use?
Tech, what was it?
Rachel, what would you like me to roll to figure out the chemicals? Or does that get sent off to Coco, or does that get sent off to the lab here? We should probably go with Coco.
Yeah, you could set it to Coco, or you could set it to the lab here.
Probably Coco as a third party. So lab doesn't
Send it to both.
Before, so this
It's
is
a good
an out of-
idea.
And
this is an
don't
out of
tell
game
them we're
question.
sending it to both.
As this is an out of game question, is there a lag between communication between where we are and LA?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Because you're just in just north of the LA proper, so
Okay.
Evan and Evie, one of you pick high, one of you pick low.
Oh, fuck
Odd.
my life. Low.
All right, that's a 2. So,
Fuck!
Hey, got it.
me, there is an orange cat, just sort of like twisting between your ankles.
I want to pick it up by its scruff.
No.
Manipulation check, please.
You know that's worth more than you are, right?
I don't know how much I'm worth.
Exactly.
I mean, out of all of you, Evan has an actual price tag.
Don't say it
We
like
know
that.
exactly how much it costs to make Evan.
Don't say it like that. You make me feel like a whore.
Better watch
All right.
watch that word, Evan. He's far
She put a price on
Sex-
me.
Sex worker is the preferred term, not
Okay,
whore.
I didn't. Neander Wallace did.
Doxy.
And I got
Doxy,
one
right? Sorry, I forgot
success.
there's a fancy term.
All right, so you pick the cat up. Meow.
This thing.
Meow.
Please give me the cat, Evan.
Here you go. Just tosses it gently.
Catches it. Hi,
Meow.
what's your name? Does it have a collar? She'll look.
Yes, its name is Janie.
Janie, isn't she cute?
Are you sure it's real?
Uh, where do animoids have their thingy? Do they have one?
I'll
Is
just
it
like
just
I'll just like hold up like the eye checker thing to it.
Mm-hmm.
Meow. As for, so most animals have some sort of serial number, but like sometimes it's like written on their bones, so kind of inaccessible.
Got it. Okay. I mean, not really. I don't know.
If we're done playing with the cat,
Maybe the cat's got some, interesting intel to give us, Dutch. You don't know.
Wait, I want to grab the cat again and be like,
Shoots
and
it
put it
as
in
low
his face.
The
Why aren't you sneezing now?
Because I took an antihistamine.
Is that how medicine works?
Kind of.
I think the point that we were trying to get at is that this seems to be a case of kind of look around, purposeful demolition.
sabotage.
Mm,
Maybe
Who
the
did
cat
is the
did it.
question. Because according to the Wonder Kid, everyone on this air dock has equal access to to this. He points to like the wreckage.
Yeah. So our suspects are everyone, apparently.
well, except
found
for
out.
your loser.
Oh yeah, did the chief of security mention anything about like a badging system, tracking chips on the
No.
replicants?
No
Nope.
such thing.
The way he tells their replicants is by their jumpsuits.
Do they have
Yeah.
like a punch card, clock in, clock out?
They have a shift system. They employ about 80, 30 work at a time.
Well, when did the 20 work?
I don't know. Ask him. Either
If you-
way,
If you want to go talk to him,
Sabotage,
have a blast. He's a conversationalist of some sort.
I don't think we need another blast. The ship is already damaged.
What about an internal security camera system?
that's what I'm working on right now.
What about
Yes,
some
tapes,
sort of
they take
hazardous
a while to
material
upload.
check in, out?
Oh, you forgot to mention that he has a personal drone he flies around as well to patrol.
I've requested all the footage
Perfect.
on the site. Any ships that come in and out of the dock, drone footage, anything like that, prior, after the explosion, anything we can use. So if we
Oh.
have a list
Okay.
of
I
suspects
know
this
it's
large,
probably nothing, but I think we should get our hands on that drone.
one thing at a time. But yeah,
I would like to
Also,
point
it
out
would be
something.
fun to chase the cat with it.
No, how dare you? You would leave that sweet little cat alone.
Isn't that cat
Even
not
though it
like
hit-
you?
No, it absolutely hates me, but that's totally fine because cats are people.
If this weren't $1 trillion corporation, this would smell of insurance fraud, right? Like this
Absolutely.
is just like, please come blow up our starship.
No security, no fire brigade. Someone using accelerant, damage the
Yes.
engines. Yeah.
It smells of insurance fraud. But
I
they
would
don't
like-
need the money.
Enough damage so the site itself was not damaged, just the machinery.
I'd like to point out something interesting. And
Is it
Ooh.
cat related, Quinn?
no.
Okay. Just
But
checking.
so I was talking with the intern for the lab, Fiza, and she said that the explosion sound itself did not wake her up. But the
There was no
alarms did.
explosion. This is fire.
Oh, there was an explosion. There's also fire.
Yeah, we have footage of that.
Not yet.
So, it is conceivable that Aphiza and a lot of people would not hear the explosion at first, because like this hangar that you're in, the walls are solid concrete.
Mhm.
Sorry, I heard you say we're in the walls, and I can't stop thinking about that right now.
They're coming out of the goddamn walls.
Ah!
Watch out, replicants. I'm in your walls.
That points to the different aircrafts that are in different stages of preparation, and just makes the observation like the one that they chose to sabotage is the one that was just getting ready to be sent off. If it's not an insurance scam, then it might just be regular run-of-the-mill corporate espionage. Considering how easy it could be to get in here, acquire a jumpsuit, get inside the facility, and then set off some kind of an accelerant. Yeah, that's all a possibility as well.
This is kind of a shot in the dark. I don't know. When you were talking about how it was the one ship that was about to be ready to be launched, do we know that these things can actually, like the rockets actually work? Like maybe they're covering up some faulty shit.
We see if they have any open contracts that are running late.
Yeah. And Quinn, can you like take a look at the I suppose, can you look at the ones that are being built right now to see if it's viable? Is something that falls in your expertise?
I think I can manage that.
I
If
got a
it's
request
on,
for you.
yes.
Can you get us some Esper machines that we can use to compile the footage we're about to get from WizKid? We can take a look, like really look, the day of the explosion, find out just what the hell happened here, who's responsible.
I think, if possible, we should avoid any tech from involved parties.
It's a good idea. Can you requisition some HQ then? Or do we
Possibly.
have any in the spinners?
I'll check.
Thanks. It's over to Evie. You know who else we need to have a talk with now?
Priya?
The replicants.
Yeah, that's
We're
Priya.
gonna need you for that, Evan.
Why?
Because if they are responsible for the sabotage, there might be something going on here. They might be trying to push Wayland Yutani's progress to launch that ship back as much as possible. They might be trying to find a way out of here themselves. So, and if that's the case, we need somebody they might be able to trust. How do you think you'll look in a jumpsuit?
I don't like where this is going.
Yeah.
I mean, I look fabulous in a jumpsuit, I think, but I don't think I'm gonna be believable as you would be.
Davey, you look fabulous in anything, first of all.
Thank you.
But I don't want to wear a jumpsuit.
You want to solve this case? You gotta explore every
How do they
angle.
know? Why can't you just wear a jumpsuit? We tell them you're a replicant.
I got places to be, pal.
I
gotta go
also
to
have
Wallace
places
Cor-
to be.
I gotta go to Wallace World. I don't have time to play
How about
replicant,
I
right?
go?
I'm not.
And you stay here.
I don't talk in ones and zeros, okay?
Just my fuck's sake.
All right, you go do your thing, and I'm gonna go swing by and
I'm calling
see what
RR.
Holden.
That's it.
Call him. I got Holden calling me all night long, telling me to go to Wally World, and I gotta talk to some rep over there. I got stuff to do, man. Let's go. Let's get it going.
Okay.
I'm not wearing a jumpsuit.
And we're Evan's going to replicants.
So is
Dutch
Evie.
is going to and so is Evie, and Cassius. What are you up to, Cassius?
I mean,
You could talk to David. Because
I could.
David's our way to talk to Genesis. Because we can't, I think it's like Genesis is actually the only person here doing any work other than the replicants.
I mean, you could send me to talk to Genesis if you really want to.
no.
I think Cassius should take a nap.
Maybe please don't kill the the head of the.
I think Cassius drinks some synthetic orange juice.
I would never kill a
Uh,
trillionaire. It's too risky.
Well,
Now a
so
quadrillionaire.
here's the question: are you gonna let poor Dutch face Quell by himself?
Who?
I mean, that to me sounds
You-
amazing. I can't wait. So
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go.
I was gonna say you don't. When we first met Quell during the first investigation, I very specifically said it's a very good thing Evie and Dutch aren't there. That's the two you don't want talking to Quell. You don't want us together talking to Quell.
Okay, so as your first investigation shift winds down and you decide what leads to pursue next, this might change your mind. Quinn, you get a message on your KIA unit. The number has been scrambled, but the message reads, "Don't forget to examine the cadaver at MedLab 2.
Quinn's gonna try and unscramble that number.
Okay, give me a tech roll, and you are going up against someone who's very, very good with tech, so you're going to need 3 successes.
Son of a bitch.
I believe in you, Quinn.
What the fuck? What the
I mean,
fuck?
I retract
must
my
push it.
belief, not because it's not because I no longer believe in you, but I think my belief cursed you. Actually, I forgot that I roll shit on this program. So
Bitch.
You know, I think Roll20 is just biased against replicants, or biased in favor of replicants.
I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna push it.
Well, no
Fuck you, roll
ones.
20. Okay, there's
Amazing.
got to be a bug
Amazing.
Right now. There's got
Oh,
to be a bug.
D12s!
What the shit?
We're gonna open a ticket after
Betty-
the stream, okay? It'll be
Betty
fun.
just
You want to hear the best part about being a replicant? You can push a roll twice.
get the fuck
Fuck
out of
you,
here.
man.
Oh,
But it all comes out of resolve, no, even if it's a physical task.
Betty also redeemed benevolence, Quinn. If you want to reroll now,
That's why I
up
just
to
gave
you.
the bend violence.
Thank you, Betty.
So you might want to save that because you do need 3 successes.
Oh
So
right.
benevolence gives advantage.
I will save my Ben violence for
Okay.
when I roll again. Oh, this is. Is anyone else good with technology in here? Or is it just me? It's just me, isn't
Oh,
it?
That's outside the scope
Speedy,
of my
no.
programming.
I got this scrambled number messaging me to check the cadaver in Medbay 2.
the only kind of tech I'm familiar with is usually involving batteries and an on and off switch.
Like a flashlight?
Like a remote?
You got some of the letters right.
Huh.
Is this battery powered?
Hmm. I just use voice activation.
Listen, if I wasn't producing, I'd be Googling some things right now. Wait, I have a cell phone. Here we go. Whoa.
Uh, I will do what I promised to do, Dutch and everyone with the footage and requisitioning. But I think I'm gonna go to the med bay and check out the cadaver because I don't remember hearing about that. Can someone come with me? I'm a little scared to go alone.
Out of character, I think they were initially reported that no one was killed during
Yeah, there.
the explosion, right?
Yeah, it
No one was
was.
injured?
Right. I think. Yeah, I do remember that vaguely.
That's one of the big reasons why replicants are suspected, because no one was hurt.
Um,
No one or no humans.
last time I got into a tussle, Quinn, I got the shit beat out of me. Dutch can attest. Otherwise, I'd volunteer, but I don't know how much of a bodyguard I'll be.
Would you like me to come with you?
You
Sure.
just want to. You want to get. This is you getting out of the jumpsuit, isn't it, Evan?
Yes,
That's what's happening right now.
Yes, I will. I will put on medical scrubs to get out of getting.
Fine,
into a
I'll go
fucking
talk to the
jumpsuit.
fuck. I'm not wearing a jumpsuit. Dutch.
I
You
just
get
think it's a
fucked,
little
okay?
presumptuous. You make the replicant dress up like a replicant when they can't tell who is and who's not a replicant. They're not gonna. Replicants aren't gonna ask you to prove you're not a replicant.
Just go bodyguard, Quinn. I'll go talk to the fuck. I'll go talk to Priya and the replicants. Okay. I'm not wearing a jumpsuit. Period.
I can picture
See,
Evie
you're
wearing
already-
a
you're
jumpsuit.
You're already thinking about like being a replicant. You don't want to wear the fucking jumpsuit.
But Evie would like cuff the legs and the arms and wear high heels. with
It would be fully like if it didn't have a zip, like it's zipped down, so it's like low cut.
All right, Quinn. You get another message. This one is from Coco. He says that he has analyzed the fingerprint data that you have sent him. He's sending along what he was able to correlate. So essentially, the fingerprints that he has found and identified, it's all of the replicants who were working at the corporation. So there's nothing out of place. But he does follow up with like, it was real easy to do this. The plasteel was a lot more porous than I was expecting. You are muted, Evie.
I know I was muted deliberately because I can't see what Quinn's seeing. But I was yelling, I fucking knew it.
I missed a relevance somewhere.
Evie was suspicious about these engines not being up to snuff, and that's why they did this to like cover up. They have shitty engines. That's a big like point to these engines suck.
So Quinn will share all of that with everyone.
See,
Sounds like replicants are cutting corners.
or like
I'm sorry, what was the note?
That the fingerprints are all the workers, basically, and that stuff is made out of plasteel.
Oh, it's porous. It's very porous metal for a spaceship engine.
yeah, that's the exact. I'm
Wasn't
not.
part of that the hull. You don't want
Weirdly
the hull
enough,
to be porous.
weirdly enough, my not degree having asses and know shit about polymers and metals, but I'm pretty sure you don't want porous material in space.
Probably not.
Not structurally.
I mean,
Like your space
really a
curtains,
matter
they
of
can be
degree.
porous.
Well, that is why. Well, that's out of game knowledge. It is why they use gold. It is a malleable metal and still heat resistant enough to exit atmosphere.
Well,
Hmm. Okay, so we need to talk to. I think we have to talk to Genesis at this point because we need to know who's designed this. Is this blueprint for this engine from Wayland or Yutani?
Just 1 second, real fast. I'll pull up my Kia and just start playing royalty-free music on it. We don't know if they have this place bugged, so let's make some white noise.
Oh, yeah, good call. I mean, to be honest, Evan, the security here is non-existent. I
Listen,
would
the
be.
security they're letting us see is non-existent.
That's fair point. Fair point.
There's no easier way to clean us up out here for stumbling onto something we're not supposed to than making us think we're safe.
All right, so look, I don't want to go talk to Genesis. That should not be me.
Well, you can't go talk to Genesis right now. I believe Cassius and I discussed earlier about talking to David for financials, which was protocol as discussed earlier. If we go to Genesis and start saying, hey, we think someone's stealing money, we're going to get murdered by someone.
Right. Okay, I don't want to talk to her anyway. Fuck that bitch.
So mean.
She's awful. It's not
And I will
mean.
stick with Quinn to make sure Quinn does not get murdered for investigating the body that does not exist.
Yeah, I don't
Great.
really feel like getting murdered today.
Cash, I guess Cassius talks to David for financials, and I'll go maybe get the shit kicked out of me by replicants again.
Cassius, you were gonna say something? No? Oh, okay. Ooh, I should call you Cassie.
We gotta find out who these blueprints belong to.
Matter who
Okay.
they belong to, is who's in charge of acquiring resources for it. Who's
Right,
in charge of sourcing
right.
the steel.
All right. Excellent. So, with that, your first investigation shift draws to a close. And we are going to take a very quick 10-minute break. And when we return, we will start your second shift of investigation. So, don't go anywhere. Audience, cast can go where they please for the next 10 minutes. I'm not your mom. So we'll see you all in 10 minutes. All right, Blade Runners, we return. So to establish, Dutch is gonna go face Quell's Fury alone. Cassius and Evan. No, Cassius is going to speak to David alone. Okay. Then Quinn and Evan are going to check out whatever is in MedLab 2. And Evie, remind me what you were going to be up to.
I'm going to go talk to the
You're going to
replicants
go talk
alone.
to Priya, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so many chewy scenes.
Fair myself, storyteller, Kia unit. I don't know what this game is. Am I allowed to hurt others in self-defense of someone else? I'm basing this off the scene where that handsome man shoots those people outside the orphanage because they're trying to break into his car. Ryan Gosling.
Yes. So, yeah, you are allowed to do the minimum necessary non-lethal damage.
All right, I think he has like a stun gun or something in that movie, right?
Yeah. All right. Let's start with Cassius. So, you ask, hey, where can I find David? Well, it's his scheduled break time. So they send you to, if you look on the map, sort of kitty corner to where the replicant barracks are, is the replicant recreation room. And so you walk in, and there's replicants just sort of hanging out. There's nothing really for them to do while the hangar is closed for your investigation. So you see a bar area. There's like this small dance floor. And so there's also like bar games, billiards, darts, shuffleboard, etc. It doesn't look well used, and the replicants hanging out here don't look like they're kind of used to being here. So you ask where David is, and you're told he's upstairs. So you walk upstairs, and it is very, very dark. But you follow this flickering white light, and you hear this mechanical clicking that's not super familiar to you. So you go into the door where you were led, and it is a small movie theater. And David is there, but he is watching Casablanca. And so you look up and you realize, oh, this must be an actual film reel that he's watching. And that was the weird clicking sound you heard, because you've never actually encountered a film reel. But it makes sense, I guess. All the digital stuff was destroyed in the blackout.
Huh. Well, now Steve wants to know what scene's on.
Oh, what scene is on?
Are they in
you
a
know
gin
what?
joint? Is that it? That's the whole movie.
Let's make it a cool one. It's the one where everybody stands up and starts singing La Marseillaise.
I'm sure there's no symbolism there.
And so David is in the center, like the center of the movie theater seats, which is like stadium seating.
Mhm.
And there's a couple other, you would assume, replicants, like scattered around. The other replicants look like a little confused. They don't get it. But David is just like super focused on the film.
I will make my way down the aisle
Uh-huh.
and take a seat next to David.
Okay. So, turns, like glances at you, nods, and just goes back to watching, unless you want to say something to him.
I've never seen this.
It is my 7th time.
Explain it to me.
It deals with a historical event of the 20th century, but that is simply a backdrop. The real drama is between Humphrey Bogart's character and Ingrid Bergman's character. They're in love, but she's married to someone else, and now he's helping her escape with her husband.
Huh.
And she especially is in a difficult position. I had to watch it 3 times to be sure, but I'm certain at this point she's in love with both men.
How can you tell?
It's well, clearly she's in love with Rick. There is a implied scene where they spend intimacy together, but she is also, when she looks at him, she's a very good actress, incredible talent. She knows how to make her eyes go soft. And you see him kind of almost unconsciously try and practice the technique.
You enjoy a good performance?
I do. There's much that films can explain about the human condition and the condition of being human that I don't think any other artistic medium is capable of.
I guess there would be something attractive to interpreting the human condition through fictional characters.
I wish it gave us more memories of levels. It might help. I'm so sorry. If you want to have a conversation, we should probably not disrupt them.
Kind of look around. I don't think they'll be bothered, honestly.
Well, I am trying to teach them good movie watching habits, so we should probably leave anyway.
Oh. Well. I guess I'll have to come back to see how it ends.
It ends with a beautiful friendship.
Interesting.
Which I believe
And-
is a metaphor, as the two nations represented would go on to become allies in the fight.
Just kind of look at him and his film analysis and that one, be like, interesting.
So he'll get up and start walking out of the theater. I assume you would follow.
I will follow.
Alright, so he will take you. He won't say anything until the theater doors have closed. And then he'll say, "How can I help you, Blade Runner?"
Well, I'm just here for routine checkup of particulars. Anything that you can give me in regard to current financial information in regard to the project of the spaceship, insurance paperwork. Who is this engine and ship design contracted out to currently? Things like that.
Yes. The ship design is primarily Yutani, especially the engine. This is what I believe they specialize in. It is the Wayland Corporation deals with more of the biologics.
Honey deals with biologics.
Yes, the many challenges of existing while human in space and
Hmm.
on colonized worlds. But
Never,
yes, I
never
will.
been off planet myself.
Neither have I. I assume at some point Miss Wayland will go, and I will accompany her.
Not allowed. Okay, excellent. Any particular new contracts that have come through, or anything? New contracts or contracts ending?
Ah, well, Yutani. Let me see. I will bring you to my office, or rather, Miss Wayland's office. I will provide you the information you need. And so, it's kind of a hike from where the replicant uh,
Mhm.
recreation. Wow. So because as you can kind of see, there's no road connecting them.
I saw that.
Yes, but he will lead you to the big admin building that's in the lower left-hand corner. Um, and to Genesis Wayland's office. And he seems to know exactly where to go. He seems to have just unfettered access to any of the files. Sits down at a workstation and starts bringing up what you need. Yes, financial information. Well, I can tell you that the Utonic Corporation recently purchased controlling interest of Wayland stock. It has been a little difficult navigating the new arrangement.
Hostile? Merger?
It was unwelcome by some members of Wayland's board. They have since departed the company.
Interesting.
Uh, yes.
Has news
Uh,
out of character? Has news of that out? Like, is that public knowledge yet?
it's rumors. So there's rumors that it was a hostile takeover.
Okay.
There are rumors of like boardroom wars. But it's only been reported in like the business press. So like Spaceship Corporation Monthly essentially. This wouldn't make the mainstream newspapers.
Okay. So yes and no simultaneously. Okay. Yes. And sorry for prying. Just have to do the standard check off, make sure no insurance fraud or anything of that nature. So just any insurance policy currently out on that particular ship.
Certainly. Produces a copy of the insurance policy.
Excellent.
So as he produces this file for you, you notice something. That there is a record of correspondence from the insurance company saying essentially your rate of on-the-job injuries is too high. Please endeavor to bring it down or we will be forced to raise your premium.
David, would you consider it dangerous to work here?
It is not without risk. Well, I am in no danger, at least I feel I'm in no danger. But yes, I do believe that there is some amount of physical risk to those working in the hangar.
David, in your opinion, do you feel that Genesis believes that enough precautions are taken for the safety of their replicants?
I believe Genesis has a difficult job to navigate. Obviously, if we removed all safety precautions and made the replicants work 18-hour shifts, we could complete this ship and all other ships far ahead of schedule. However, that would, in the long run, be inefficient. And so, therefore, she must make decisions that would reduce short-term efficiency to ensure long-term efficiency, and those are very difficult questions to answer, much less correctly.
Difficult decisions such as cutting any on-site fire brigade.
I don't believe a fire was at all anticipated.
You work with combustibles.
We do, but we are promised by Wallace Corporation that every replicant sent to us is trained in safe handling of such materials.
Your head of security, not exactly the most experienced.
I believe he was given the position as a favor to his father.
And why was his father owed a favor?
Uh, well, I suppose to earn a favor from his father.
Earn
I
a
do
favor.
know that the young man idealizes you and what you do. He harbors ambitions of becoming a Blade Runner himself one day.
Wade does.
Yes. Many humans dream of getting a colonist visa. He dreams of doing what you do.
Well, I thought he was more into drones than investigations.
He likes using technological methods of surveillance. It makes him happy.
So more of a hobby.
Yes.
Oh, just interesting that
is.
he has a mobile device for looking around when there seems to be no stationary on-site Esper devices. Do you not wish
I
to
can
compile
provide
data of your hangars?
I can provide an Esper device if you need.
That was active in the last 48 hours?
Yes.
We would absolutely love to go through those just to make sure that everyone coming and going was proper. We did a forensics check. There doesn't seem to be any forensics out of place. Every you know fingerprints, DNA, things of that nature all seem to check out. But never hurts to check.
Of course. I shall have one sent to your quarters.
Excellent. Okay. So we're going to continue to ask around, kind of got to get an idea of what's going on. I have one more question for you, though, and then I'll let you get back to work. Um, you know Genesis very well, correct?
Yes,
You work with her
I do.
very closely. In your expert opinion of Genesis's thought process, if Genesis was to have a prime suspect, someone that she would be almost certain did this, who would that be?
She would suspect the replicant Priya. That would be most convenient for her.
Gonna mark down a little note. You know, based on everything that I've seen, I think I would agree with that. Seems like a clear case of replicants not maybe getting things they deserve and taking a stance against it in ways that would be dangerous to others.
It is quite likely.
Well, David, I'd really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And if you need me for anything, we'll be around. And it would come to me. Some of my colleagues there are a little bit more into their particulars. Don't mind being your point of contact here.
Of course, I will arrange for you to have the Esper soon.
Really appreciate that.
And so he'll
And-
hand you copies of financial documents. Give me an insight roll, please.
Okay. That's bad.
Well, it's only bad on a push. Ones are only bad if they show up on a push.
So
Of course, the next question is, do you want to push? There's also the benevolence that Betty bought for you.
was that for me?
That's up to
I
Betty?
don't believe that was for me.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, you can use it if you want to. This seems kind of important.
Does not look like Betty specified.
well, it was during.
Betty
seemed
just
like-
did specify it's for whoever needs it.
Oh. You know, I feel like I'm not in that much danger personally. And poor Dutch might need it. Coming up. So, if I push with the one stays, correct?
No. You get to re-roll.
Oh, I can re-roll the one?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought you couldn't reroll ones.
Yeah, I thought
Oh.
You can't, so you cannot reroll ones.
Okay.
in
I
there.
stand corrected.
So
Yeah.
I imagine the conceit is if you re-roll that D10 and get a 1, then you're boned.
Okay. Or so I'm giving up the resolve no matter what because I have that one, correct? If
No,
if-
you only
if I
lose
push.
resolve. You lose resolve if you roll a 1 when you re-roll it.
So you would only lose resolve if you re-roll the 5 and it comes up 1.
Okay. Okay. Fortune favors the bold. Here we go. That's a 9 with
Okay.
one success.
Finally, Roll20 is behaving. Okay. So.
Yeah, because I don't
Uh,
talk shit about it.
Fair.
Are you calling me out, Steve, right now? Is that what's happening? You calling me out?
Fight!
That's 2
Fight!
bro.
Alright, so as you go through the documents, you find a copy of the insurance claim that they filed after the initial accident, and the insurance company saying, essentially, given your safety record, we will need a formal police report, including name of the responsible parties, before they pay the claim.
So to get the insurance, they need us to sign off on who the responsible party was. Got it.
Yes.
That's makes sense.
Out of game, I do want to point out, Holden also told us we have to find a replicant responsible.
No, he didn't.
He explicitly said we must find a replicant who did this. He
Right.
explicitly said that.
What? No, I don't think that's what happened.
Shut up and put on that suit, Evan.
I'm not putting on the fucking monkey suit.
So I will take all of that. I will put in that they need us to sign off on something to get the insurance payout, and start to make my way out. Having said thank you to David, and I'll stop, kind of looking out, not back at him, just being like, it's the carpet that you remember more than anything. You lay in front of the screen, and it's scratchy, but it's comfortable. And the people on TV aren't characters. They're real because you're too young to know any better. So all the movie magic is just your friends.
Perhaps I
And
shall try
anytime,
watching a movie on the carpet next.
give it a try. And then I'll leave.
He looks thoughtful. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to accomplish this investigation session?
No, I think that's enough for me right now. I've got the data, the financials, and the insurance stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm good.
All right. Who is my next victim? Evie. What?
No, it's fine. I knew in my soul, I was like, oh, we're getting successes. Let's hop over to the person who's going to roll like dog shit entire night.
Just be evil. It'll fix everything.
I can't do it. I can't. Dominique's not here. They'll just start fucking. Let's just space a few people. Well, we can't space people here, but a few bodies in the desert. Who cares?
You say that now. All right. So, Evie, you probably passed by Cassius walking with David on your way to the replicant part of the compound.
I just. Oh no, he saw us all together. So I do give a little like wave then. Oh, hold on. Let me.
Quinn has a cat.
It's the one
That
cat
one.
that'll befriend Quinn.
That one is not an orange cat.
My cat's teasing me. She's on the other side of this monitor.
Okay, now we're good to go.
Okay. Gotta get the cool jacket on. Alright. So, you find Priya in the previously described bar section, where she's just, not really drinking, but she's having like a very quiet conversation with a couple other people. And so this is what she looks like. So, she's got
Oh,
very dusky golden skin and really dark hair, and so clearly her templant was of East Indian heritage. And you can see that she's sort of made a nod to that because on her fingers, it's not quite henna, but they are some angular stylized like Art Deco tattoos along both of her hands and sort of crawling up her wrists. And so you also see that all of the replicants here, they are wearing sort of the same drab gray jumpsuit.
Internally, she thinks pity about the jumpsuit. She pretty.
Yeah, and you think that, and you're like, right, she was actually designed as a doxy.
So yeah, Evie will approach in trust as she is.
Okay, so You approach, and since you're not trying to be like disguise yourself, or you approach at
No.
all.
Nope, not at
Okay.
all. So that stealth, as we have learned in previous sessions, is not Evie's strong suit.
All right. So she catches sight of you and just sort of immediately on alert. She knows exactly who you are and what your job is.
Hi, Priya, I presume, yes?
PR409, but yes, that is what I am called.
But what would you prefer I address you as?
Priya works.
Priya, then. She'll extend her hand.
Priya will carefully take it. You want to
She'll
look
just
under
shake it
my...
for the record. Thirsty chat, don't you worry.
You want to look under my left eyeball?
Um, if sure, that's fine. I wasn't really concerned. But if you'd like,
You can see her serial number there.
great.
Can I look under your left eyeball?
Sure.
Hmm.
Are you worried
Interesting.
because of my appearance? I'm not a real Blade Runner, or were you more worried that I was a undercover replicant?
I know you're a human. I wanted to know how a human would respond to the question. Usually they don't respond well.
Oh, I think you'll find that I differ from most of your expectations.
I suppose.
Is there somewhere private we can talk, or do you? I'm also fine just talking here. It's up to you.
You're the Blade Runner.
Suppose I am. So in private then, shall we?
As you wish. And so she asks the bartender if she can use the back office, and he's like, "Oh yeah, of course, of course. I'll do my best not to bother you." So it's a very cramped space. There's like some computer screens up there with inventory, things like that. Nothing super out of place. And so she just sort of like leans up against some like storage cube. Probably contains like bottom shelf synthetic synthahol. Not
Uh,
even like synthetic whiskey, it's just synthahol.
Evie will Evie will put herself in a comfortable amount of personal space
Okay.
as much as possible in this cramped quarters. Okay, so I'll start with the basic questions that you probably already have guessed I'm going to ask. Where were you when the incident happened?
I was meeting with other replicants
Where?
in the barracks.
Okay. May I have their names or ID numbers as you prefer?
Is that entirely necessary?
I'm just covering my bases.
What
Paperwork,
would
you
do with
understand.
this information?
You know what? Fair enough. I don't need that.
I will provide it if you need it for alibis.
I wasn't really looking for alibis. I was just curious how truthful you're going to be with me. And it seems you are going to be, but you're just going to... It's going to be a little push and pull, as it were.
I am led to believe that lying to a Blade Runner is one of the quickest ways to be retired.
Perhaps. How long were you speaking with these other replicants? Actually, sorry, Evie doesn't say replicants. These are people.
We were speaking for about an hour, discussing what we should do next to deliver our concerns as a group to Miss Wayland.
Did you hear the explosion?
We did not.
Okay.
We did hear the sirens. that sounded, I am led to believe, several moments later.
How familiar are you with the materials you're working with to construct this ship? All these ships, actually.
I am familiar mostly with the ventilation, with the wiring, with the cabling. It is my job to make sure that all of the air, water, and other pipes and cords necessary to support life on the ship are where they are supposed to be.
Could you give me a list of all the people who will be working on the engines?
I can provide that.
I'll need that. What do you think happened?
And so she thinks, like, how, give me a manipulation roll.
Excellent.
To
I was
see-
waiting.
Yeah, to see how safe she feels revealing anything.
Okay. Fuck my life. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. I'm gonna push.
Okay.
Still, it didn't roll a 1 at least, so. So Drea has been so kind as to give me a benevolence.
Okay.
I'll roll my. Do I? Yeah, I'll roll my d12 then and hope. Gee, fuck. Well, there's the 1 now.
Well, fortunately, that was with advantage. It wasn't on a push.
Okay, cool, great.
So, wow, Roll20 just hates everyone.
Me especially. I
Not me.
Robot solidarity.
Oh, bros.
honestly, Drea, you should have redeemed malevolence. It might have worked in my favor. Yeah, 100%.
All right, so what she'll say then is she says, I know what Miss Wayland thinks.
I think Evie, with that god-awful roll, betrays her opinion of Miss Wayland the second Priya says that.
I don't know how I ended up as being the person that the other replicants come to when they need help or look to for leadership, but this is the position I'm in. And I will tell you that we had no plans of sabotage at all. We have been upset. We have been talking about collective work stoppage. But that is as far as we've gotten. There has been no talk of violent action.
I'm going to let my awful roll forward with what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually don't think you were involved in any sabotage at all. I think that you've been selected as the fall person even before we arrived. That's what I think, actually. That's why I'm here talking to you now. I'm just marking boxes on a form that I actually don't believe.
I see. And if I am found to be at fault, will I be retired as a result?
I hate that term retired, by the way. It belies what's actually happening, but I don't know. I don't know what will happen to you. I know that that's the plan. If everything goes as I assume it's Miss Wayland's intention. I assume it's my boss's intention, just getting the orders I was given when I was sent here, that I was supposed to find a replicant responsible instead of find out who's responsible. Like the key words, you look for those things when someone speaks to you.
Ah, what an interesting choice I have then.
Indeed.
Death or the colonies.
You wouldn't be the first replicant I've helped smuggle off world, so.
Oh no, that we would not be smuggled.
How do you mean?
Once the ship is completed, Everyone working on this ship will be sent to the colonies to prepare it for human settlement. That was our original purpose.
So, sorry, now I'm a little more interested. You actually have a better reason for it to be completed and completed successfully then to get off of this kind of place that most people kind of shit on you and hate you. Am I correct in that assumption?
It is more complicated than that.
Please enlighten me, if you don't mind.
The work here is hard, but we don't mind that. We were designed to be capable at hard work. But we have our comforts. There are no such comforts on the colonies. They are dangerous. Turnover. That's what they call retirement in the colonies. Turnover
I
is
love
quite high.
these fun phrases that they have made up to
That is
cover up.
the core.
Sorry.
Really, that's the core of our issue. We want to be able to choose if we move on to build a colony or if we prefer to stay behind and work on the next spaceship. I believe if given the choice, about half of us would go, but it rankles to be told instead of invited, you understand.
I'm familiar with that sensation, emotion, whatever you like to call it. Okay. You know why that so much has been spent on luxury and so little on security? Is that all, Miss Wayland? Is that her trying to placate you, or is that for herself?
I don't know the full budget.
Okay. Don't worry, we have someone looking into the financials. I was curious if you had a take on it. What kind of amenities do you have here, actually, now that I'm asking?
We have this place to come and enjoy a drink after our shift, although not all of us partake. There is a cinema upstairs, but the only one who ever really uses it is David. I don't understand his fascination with pre-blackout film.
Forgive me, there's a proper reel?
Yes, David is paid quite well for his work, and as
I don't
most of
doubt that.
his material needs are already met by living on this campus, he spends most of his salary tracking down films, actual film movies.
Interesting. Okay. I think.
He
sorry.
copies them. He copies them.
Interesting. All of them? Everyone he watches, he copies?
I misspoke. I walked in on him once, trying to perfect his Cary Grant.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, the only thing I really need from you is and again, like I've told you, a formality, the list of people who work on the engines. I might want to speak to some of them. If there is someone you considered the most knowledgeable, that would be deeply helpful to me. And I promise I'll do my best to make sure this doesn't end up pinned on you. It's not my goal.
We have one more manipulation roll.
Thank fuck.
Is it manipulation though? If she really means it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's basically to convince Priya that she's trustworthy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Persuasion is a kind of manipulation.
It is in fact, yeah. I'm a Blade Runner talking to replicants. There is like an inherent distrust period.
Right. And I hope I've been able to properly convey that.
Yes,
I'm a
100%.
sweet, soft baby.
All right. And so as you leave, Priya says, SM009.
I'm sorry?
Sammy, SM009. He
Yeah.
was injured last week. He was sent to medbay. He never came back. If you want to blame someone for incompetence, you might as well blame him.
Evie looks conflicted for a moment because given what Quinn told her before she headed here, I don't think Sammy is alive anymore. There's a body waiting for one of us in the morgue currently. I'm going to assume it's his. I'm sorry if he was a friend.
He was an incompetent worker. Might have left something task undone. That's why he got injured after all.
Thank you for your time, Priya. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Blade Runner.
My name's Evie. You can call me Evie.
Blade Runner Evie then.
As you wish. And then Evie will duck out to go drop some knowledge nuggets on the rest of the team.
Okay, well, the one person who you can't drop this knowledge nugget on is Dutch, because he is making his way to the Wallace Corporation. So, you fly your spinner back into the city, and however you feel when you leave the sunshine-drenched wind farms and solar farms and make your way back to this city where it's almost universally dark and overcast and rainy and crowded. It's always so crowded. However you feel about that transition, that's up to you, but definitely something that Dutch experiences as he returns to the city and to the behemoth skyscraper that is the Wallace Corporation. So you go to the front desk, you say who you are, you're here for Quell. You are led back to the same office where Cassius and Quinn encountered Quell. What?
I'm doing the like vampire back to Quell. She's evil.
I kind of get it.
So, you're only waiting for a couple minutes before Quell, again, just impossibly beautiful, walks in and looks you up and down. They sent someone different this time. I hope you're far more competent than your colleagues.
I imagine she is not click-clacking her way over to me. I'm in the lounge or whatever, just helping myself to whatever alcohol's present, you know. So I just kind of turn around and go, get a
So
pleasant
you would
surprise.
be in her office?
Oh.
They would have taken you straight there.
Okay.
And yeah, she would have had a small hospitality bar, so she would have said that, and then said, by all means, help yourself to a drink.
Oh, don't mind if I do. He's just kind of stupefied by how beautiful she is. He's just like tripping over his, like he just like, I need liquid courage, quick. And he goes and like orders himself a drink.
Fuck, I should have gone with Dutch to keep her from being thrown off guard by hotness.
This isn't bad. I'd better, but this isn't bad. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Synthetic bourbon, I am told, made with 5% real corn.
Not bad. I'm Olson, LAPD, Rep Detec. Got sent
Nice to
over here
meet
by
you.
Colin. How can I help you?
Indeed, to debrief me on the results of your most recent investigation.
Which one? The one that took place here in LA or up north?
As I understand it, the investigation up north is ongoing, but I would gladly enjoy any intelligence you have on how that is progressing. And you can
Sure.
tell, like, her attitude is like corporate espionage. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I figured you already have all the facts on the situation that occurred not too long ago here regarding Miss Tyrell.
Yes,
It's the one that we're involved in right now. Has nothing to do with Wayland Corporation, or does it?
I'm more interested in Leia.
Oh. Must have been mistaken. Excuse me. You're more interested in space travel that Wayland Yutani is obviously pursuing?
The space travel is quite an exciting prospect. However, well, I suppose the question is if Peter Wayland's reach exceeds his grasp or not. He is, after all, reaching for the stars, quite literally.
He's not the only one, though. Why them?
Why then what?
Why the sudden interest? Is this, does it really have to do with space travel, or is it the biological side of Wayland that you're interested in?
Well, we do supply their replicant workers.
Yeah?
I'd like to know that they're doing their jobs properly, as designed.
I got a question for you about that. Hold that thought. He goes, refills his glass. When you say that they're designed, they're supposed to be impeccable, they're supposed to be perfect, right? They don't break down like the old models used to, right?
You find a flaw in me?
Not one.
Well then.
That's not the flaw I'm talking about, though. These flaws you can't see. At least they're not easy to detect. But I've
Well.
seen them.
Flawed replicants.
Flawed Nexus 9 replicants.
Well, isn't that what you're here for, to report on the flaws of the one called Leia? Is it
I
true?
suppose I am.
Is it true that she murdered Lilith Tyrell?
Dutch is trying to recall what Holden asked him to do. Because I
Essentially
imagine,
just
like...
debrief Quell.
Oh, fuck. Okay. So he wants me to give them everything. Okay. Well, that information is pretty, confidential police business. What exactly is it that you have? What is your relationship with the LAPD exactly, and Holden specifically?
Well, we supply you very meticulously designed replicants to function as blade rats. The thought, of course, being that it takes one to catch one.
You know which one of my units is a replicant?
I do. He was sent over not that long ago. He was.
That's not who I'm
and
talking
so-
about. You're talking about Evan.
Yes. Well, EVA6U.
I'm not talking about him. I mean the other ones. You would know your own work, would you not?
I do.
Would you care to give me an example?
Well, it's not exactly my work.
You know what I mean.
It's Neander Wallace's work.
Sure. And you're just a humble representative.
Of course.
But clearly not just any representative. You have a lot more information than most. If
I'm
you
a
knew about Evan,
custom-
then you know about the other ones, don't you?
I am a custom design. Yes, you won't find me on the assembly line.
If I'm expected to do my job correctly and debrief you on all the particulars of our case, I need to know who it is that I'm working alongside.
Have you encountered KD6 3.7? He's
Elaborate.
also on assignment.
B6. He's like jotting this down or something like. Who is this again? What's their
KD6
real name?
3.7. I believe he's simply known as K.
Not familiar.
Well,
Do
perhaps
you have
you'll
another
end up
name on
working
my unit?
on your unit?
Yes.
Why do you ask?
Because I don't know anything about. Because I don't know anybody about anything about my people that I'm working alongside. Holden just press ganged me into this assignment, and I
Maybe
need to
you should-
know if I have any malfunctioning Nexus 9 replicants I need to be aware of before I
Isn't it
have to
your
retire
job?
them.
Isn't it your job to identify a malfunctioning Nexus 9?
Not when they're another Blade Runner.
Isn't that precisely when it's your job?
True. But it is also part of my job to take precautions. Wouldn't you say?
I don't know if the precautions that you're thinking of are going to be as effective as you think they will be.
I'd like to know what you think happened to Lilith Tyrell.
Well, I wasn't there, and I'm not trained as a Blade Runner.
What have you heard?
Well, as I understand it, the memory that Lilith Tyrell gave her malfunctioned.
And what is Wallace Corporation prepared to do about something like that, if it were to be true?
Well, we're certainly stopping production on that model. I would probably also say that we are stopping our relationship with Lilith Tyrell as a creator of memories, but, well, Leia ensured that's going to happen anyway, so I suppose we're going to have to outsource to a different subcontractor anyway.
What about the ones that may malfunction? Similar models that might have the same problems as the one that, the same one that killed Lilith Tyrell, as you
Well,
already
that's
know.
your job, isn't it?
I mean, the ones within the LAPD itself.
I still believe that's your job.
It is my job, and unfortunately, no one's given me any straight answers. So I figured maybe this might be a good opportunity to ask the manufacturer to know where their own toys are. Do you or do you not know? Great. So now that I've given you something, usually the way this works is you give me something in return.
You haven't really given me much of anything.
What else is it that you want?
I want to know what you think happened to Leia.
Be happy to share that with you. What do you say we get out of here?
I have work to do, Blade Runner Olsen.
So do I.
What are you suggesting, an afterward cocktail?
I'm suggesting we get out of these confines. Every ounce of our words aren't recorded for quality assurance purposes, of course.
You think I won't record everything you say to me?
I think you're pretty advanced, honey, but I don't think you can do that one.
Even humans have been known to have perfect recall and photographic memory.
But you're not human, are you?
I'm more human than human.
You want to test that theory?
What are you proposing?
Well, for starters, let's get out of here. I'll tell you what I know, and you can tell me what I need to know.
She takes a long moment to think.
This
Go
fucking
ahead
homo
and
bastard.
Give me an insight roll, please.
Oh no, I'm really good at those. Insight.
Especially
She
with,
doesn't dig you, Dutch. Get the hell out of her sights. Oh boy.
Push that shit. Push
You
it.
wanna push
Push it to the limit. Both of them. Fuck it.
Oh,
Boom! I got
wow.
one. Probably not nearly as good as I needed for her, but
So
These rolls, I think we're getting a break.
all right. So, okay. So you see on her face, she's sort of making a calculation. What would Meander want me to do? Probably go along. That's the question she asks herself. And you can also sense just like a little bit of human curiosity, like this is new.
isn't it? Wow, I'd be surprised.
And so she gets up and says, "All right, Blade Runner Olsen, you are far less incompetent than the two officers Holden sent me before. What do you have in mind?"
Take that as a compliment. Let's go for a ride. Let's get out of here. Fancy a drink? Real
You know, if
alcohol
you-
as opposed to synthetic?
Really want alcohol, I'm pretty sure what we just left is far better than anything they'd serve in any bar that would admit you.
Yeah, I'll take that as a challenge. Picks up the bottle and 2 glasses, leads her to the spinner.
Okay. So do you take her any place in particular, or just like a nice day drive while you probably engage in some very unsafe drinking and driving?
Sure, yeah, the latter. Maybe a whatever counts as a decent scenic location in dystopian future LA with the fucking seawall and shit. Like I don't know what glimmer of natural life there still is to behold aboard something
mean,
like a
there-
spinner.
So there really isn't, but you could take her to the seawall. I mean, there's definitely a lot of interesting things to look at there.
Sure, yeah. Anything but instead of like the drab stuff, I'll try to take her to some place that is like more beholden of some of the natural world as opposed to like the the gray drab that she's used to.
Yeah, the ocean is the closest you're gonna get to that.
What about the La Brea tar pits?
Those are so small though. Like I've been, it's like a quarter acre.
I thought they were neat.
They're totally neat. They're just like super small and probably paved over by this point.
Is she pushing to try to get the additional information about the current case, or is she just not interested in that information at all?
At this point, she's not focused on you and watching what you're doing.
Oh, okay. So he's
Like-
probably very clumsily trying to make conversation and like innuendo with her as we're driving, and at some point he just puts the autopilot on and pours her a drink and stuff like that. And it's like, fuck it, this isn't gonna interrupt with your synthetic biology, is it?
Superior metabolism and a perfectly functioning liver.
Here's to your perfectly functioning liver and to my deteriorating one. Plink. He'll, I'm not even gonna ask. I'm not even gonna try to roll against her when it comes to like, you're gonna tell me everything I want to know, because like he's already like head over heels over somebody like this, and she's probably much better at playing that game than he is. So he'll confirm like everything you've probably already heard is true, and whatever the UN says or whatever they've been told is a complete falsification. And in return, he's going to want name, incept dates, the whole 9 yards on the people on the supposed Nexus models that are on his particular detail. Like
Okay.
and with his reasoning being like, yeah, that was a malfunctioning Nexus 9 model that killed Tyrell's niece, and I need to know if I can trust the people that I'm working alongside of when it comes to these other investigations. I don't want to get randomly retired by one of them by being shot in the fucking back. I don't want to end up like that guy, you know.
All right. So do you tell Quell about the delivery you made to Rhiannon Wilder?
I'll omit that.
Okay. All right. So there's some more verbal sparring, but you can tell that like you've intrigued her. You have presented her with something new.
Hmm.
And she, at the end of it, probably the alcohol is helping, will tell you that she will have the files that you're requesting delivered to your KIA unit. But could you drop a girl back off at home so she can get on that?
Sure. Spin it around back, drop her off, but before she leaves, he's like, all right, one last question. When can I see you again?
And I suppose if you have questions about what's in the files.
Unofficially.
I am a very busy woman. I'll call you.
So am I. Okay. Looking forward to it. Closes the door, heads back up north. That was downtime well spent, guys. Pay attention.
Yeah, you actually got her to like you.
Nice. Do I get a resolve point for that? I don't know.
It's still an investigation.
Okay, sure, fair enough.
But now, you know what? Yeah, take a resolve point for that.
Thank you.
So she needs someone who's just as sassy, not someone who goes, ooh, mommy hurt me.
Yeah, basically.
Who wants that?
So ironically, Evie should have gone.
You would have gotten along great, I tell you.
No, Evie would have hated her guts still. It's just a fact.
All
Wait,
right.
who's hurting me?
Back to. Uh-oh.
So, the camera will now shift to Quinn and Evan. So, I know we're running a little bit over. I'll try and make this as quick as possible. So,
Take your
Oh
time.
no, a fun game running over.
Make it as Quinn as possible.
I know, right?
Yeah.
what was that?
I said make it as Quinn as possible.
Oh, yes, definitely as Quinn as possible. All right, so Quinn and Evan, you go to Medbay 2, and you pick up immediately that this place, yes?
What's in Medbay 1? Oh, yeah, they're different buildings. I remember the map, yeah.
Yes. This building looks like it was one of the first built here. So it's got a little more wear and tear than everything going on. It doesn't look like it's used much. And there's a little bit of resistance to letting you in. No, I'm sorry, that's a restricted area. You can't go. We're Blade Runners. Shut the fuck up. Oh, okay. They probably shouldn't have put a replicant on door duty. Okay, so you gain
I'm allowed
access.
to lie to replicants. I can do that.
I'm sorry?
I realized I'm allowed to lie to replicants.
Yes, you are. You can also retire them if you sincerely believe that they deserve it.
Or if I have a warrant.
Okay. So, Quinn and Evan, you bring the body out of the morgue. Okay. So, the body is SM009. which currently does not mean much to you, but it is a Doxy model, similar to Priya. Had an East Indian template as well. So go ahead, Quinn, and Evan, you can help too.
I'm helping.
You're very helpful. All right, so you're going to, I assume, do an autopsy.
Where's the pizza
Medical
cutter?
medical aid or observation to perform the autopsy.
Either one. Are both, they're the same grade.
All right, let's go with medical aid.
Can I help with observation or medical aid?
You can help, yes.
One
Do I have
success.
to use the same skill? Mine are different.
Use observation. Because you
Alright,
can
so-
point out, like, oh, hey, look at that.
Alright, so I've clicked on helping. Nope. Off by one. Oh well.
Okay. Would either of you like to push that roll to try and get, so Quinn, you can try and re-roll your 3 to get more successes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Evan can re-roll that as well to try and help. Oh, dang!
I was going
yes.
but I don't think I need to at this point.
Okay, so, alright. Here is what you get. The body is of SM009, aka Sammy. He is a doxy. Looking over his medical records, he injured his back about a week ago when he was trying to move a cargo container all by his own. However, he died of hypothermia.
In California? In
And-
Bakersfield?
Space.
And it's not like Quinn with 3 successes. Like you're sort of like rummaging around in his innards, like this is weird. And so you put some of his cells under a microscope, and like it's not that he like got caught outside in a cold night in the desert. Like these cells are like freezer burned steak.
With nitrogen, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
How big are these cargo containers that you mentioned? I'm thinking shipping containers. I don't. Like, how
doesn't
much
really
would you
say.
say? How much would you guess they weigh? Like 400 pounds, 200 pounds?
Yeah, so the answer that I will give you is like when you look up that number, it's like, oh no, you definitely need 2 people to move that. He should not have been moving it by himself.
Should not or could not?
Should not.
Like impossible.
More like OSHA regulations would say that 2 people should move a container of this size, and he decided to move it by himself.
Okay.
So sort of like cutting safety corners, but not doing the impossible.
You know, they're researching cryo sleep.
Where? Medbay 1?
Maybe. They're researching it for the ships, but
They absolutely are researching how to do cryosleep at the Wayland Atomic Corporation. And that is where we will end tonight's session on Quinn having that thought occurred to her. So, thank you all so much for running. Thank you for letting me run a little bit over. Thank you to Ben for producing. And thank you to our wonderful audience. Thank you for all the channel points and all of the wonderful things that you have said. Thank you for the hype train. We completed it at level 2. This was great. You are the best audience ever. So if we just want to do one more quick go round of who we are and when we can see your face next on the internet, if ever, because some of us are hermits.
Hey everybody, it's me, your friendly neighborhood changeling in a trench coat. You can find me all over the internet as Am Changeling and on Etsy at Thornkind. You can find me playing again. Same time, same place, same face, unless I trade it for someone else's. Right here on this channel.
Hello, it's me, Aaron again. Of the she, they, they variety. I stole that from Kay. She was here. They were here earlier, so I had to. Anyways, yeah, you can find me Sunday, I assume, over at Girls Run These Worlds, where we'll be doing the not finale of our series, but finale of the movie portion of They Came from Camp Murder Lake. Unless our beloved GM has more finals college stuff to deal with. Other than that, I guess here, or if my friends randomly ask me to collab, I'll show up and yell it everywhere. You'll hear it. Otherwise, at Great Cthulhu.
Hello, Ben, playing the replicant Evan, whose serial number just gave me this moment. You can catch me here, playing this game on Fridays. End of list.
I'm Eric. I played Dutch, and you can find me here next week, same time, for this awesome game.
That was so quick. Hi. I'm Steve. Pronouns are he, him. I played Cassius and had fun.
Alright, I've been your humble storyteller. My name is Rachel. You can find me Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere. I will be back here on Monday playing Dragon Age, hopefully. And then on Monday you will also find Curse of Strahd. She is the Ancient. On Wednesday I stream Dragon Age. And on Thursday there will be a Battletech game using the Fate system called Solid Metal. You can see our poster in the Discord. Come join it. You are all wonderful people. Yeah. And we should probably raid someone.
On my end, I see Onyx Path and Dork Tales as far as
Yeah.
RPGs.
Let's go raid Dork Tales. Alright, good night everybody.